Now, opinion in this case is going to be when you are told, not when you discover, when you are told the right way to go somewhere. And so therefore you reach some junction and you're puzzled, and in some way, usually by another person or a work, you're told which way to go. That's an opinion. Therefore, you have an opinion about how to reach the truth. Now, it's a very interesting kind of opinion. It's a right opinion or a true opinion. But the person who has it doesn't know it's true. They believe it's true. Now, in the process of proceeding now, if that person ever discovers the reasons why it's a true opinion, why it's true, if they discover the reasons, why it's true, they have understanding. Understanding means nothing other than that. Now, just because you understand why that opinion happens to be right or true doesn't mean you have knowledge. Just as if someone came up to you and said, "Could you please tell me how to get to San Francisco?" because they didn't know how to get there. And you say, "Well, I'll tell you what, I happen to know the way to get there. You take this road here, follow it, don't get off that road, and sure enough, in the end, you'll get there." Well, they hope they're giving you the true opinion. They don't know it's true, but they do have an opinion. When they get there, much to their surprise, they will have discovered something. But have they reached it? That is to say, they confirmed the truth of the true opinion in their own experience. Now they got something. They confirmed the truth of a true opinion in their own experience. Now they could go back and meet you again and they could say, "Thank you very much." But suppose you hadn't ever gone to San Francisco either. You just happened to know the right road to go there. Then they could tell you why that opinion that you gave them is true, because they could show you a map and point out, if you're not familiar with a map, introduce you to a map, and they could show you, therefore, that following these kinds of signs and this kind of information, that their information was true. They wouldn't know. They haven't confirmed it. So therefore, let's go back, right? So if you have a belief, some beliefs may block you from ever reaching the truth. If you have a belief there's no such thing as San Francisco, with that belief you're not going to take a trip there. You're not even going to be interested in gaining any opinions about the nature of San Francisco. If you do, however, suspend that belief, and now you have an interest in this curious place, then you'll be gathering opinions about it. If, for one reason or the other, you suddenly have a true opinion about it and act upon it, then that means you're going to try to confirm what it is that you've received as the true opinion. And then, if you know the reasons why it's true, you have understanding. Confirm it, knowledge. These two are going to be together, knowledge and wisdom, but we want to wait for a minute. Now, before you can talk about this curious myth, we have to know something about this. Now, the only thing we need to know is that, which everybody would agree, That is, that there is a vast and wondrous power to love. Right? There's a vast and wondrous power to love. Now, the reason why we have to go to the metaphysical level is because we have to open up the higher dimension of the nature of love in order to talk about it philosophically. So therefore, by talking about the power of it, that will allow us to see the range, its range or scope, and then we can use more precision in dealing with the way in which that power functions. So therefore, in Socrates' great speech, which is from his teacher was a woman, reported to be a woman by the name of Diotima. All right, there she is. Looked very much like this on the old wine bottles. And Diotima, Socrates' teacher then, unfolds to him a whole teaching about the subject, about the nature of love, of which he is said to be the wisest teacher. And in doing it, she then relates this very interesting model of the power of love. Now, in that model of love, we will see the upper reaches of it, and in that upper reaches of it, that becomes the metaphysical realm. Once we have the model of the power of love and can see the higher dimensions of it, what's involved in it, we can go back to the four categories we had a moment ago, and we can see what must come in order for the whole thing to make a splendid unity. So therefore, we need the model. Therefore, luckily enough, I happen to have brought the text. And I can use either one, Eva the Loeb as well as the Rouse edition. So just quickly, it's a very interesting, very short paragraph. And therefore, at page 98 in the Rouse, which is approximately 202D, after Socrates is introduced to these four ideas, what are they? Ignorance, right opinion, understanding, and knowledge. Diotima introduces, therefore, something quite remarkable. She says that the God how could a God be a God who has no share in beautiful and good things? That's the question, right? How could a God be a God who has no share in beautiful and good things? Or we can say beauty and goodness. Therefore, we can look at it and we can say, from this rhetorical question, which becomes rhetorical, if there is such a thing as a God, that God must share in beauty and goodness. That is the theory of what is sometimes called Plato's theory of participation. And that is therefore stating that if a God is a God, they will share in, participate in beauty. And that beauty must be linked to goodness. So these two words are going to be joined. Beauty and goodness. Now, see, we're already on the theological level. We're already sneaked into the theological level, and now we want to play with it, metaphysical theology.